You know who's had enough of this special counsel nonsense? God damn it. Judge the Meanie over here. Judge Jeanine has a thing where she's filling in on Hannity, I guess? Or is she the guest? It's a Hannity special, which sounds like a really terrible sandwich. Just I was about to go into what's in it, but I don't want to get demonetized. I already am. Never mind. What's out? How you guys doing? By the way, like, subscribe. It's Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. Yeah, it sounds like a slang term for diarrhea. I got the Hannity special last night. Oh God. All right, so here we go. This is Judge Jeanine. She's the title of this one is Judge Jeanine explodes on Hunter Biden special counsel. It is a sham. Oh, she's mad because they put a Trump appointee in charge.
All right, we continue with all the news breaking this Friday night. Now, earlier this week, when asked about his involvement with Hunter's shady dealings, Joe, once again, he snapped at our friend and our colleague, Fox News White House correspondent Peter Doocy.
He snapped at him. Oh my God, is Peter okay? Has anybody talked to him? Is he on sedatives or something like that? Does he have one of those like relax patches?
Look.
There's this testimony now where one of your son's former business associates is claiming that you were on speakerphone a lot with them talking business. Is that?
And by the way, no, he did not claim that. So let's start right there. Let's leave, how Joe Biden is hearing this enough. Steve Doocy's premise is a lie. If you read the Devon Archer transcript, that is not at all close to the truth. As a matter of fact, the opposite was true. Every time that Devon Archer was asked, did they discuss business? He goes, no, it's just pleasantries. He said, hey guys, how's the fishing? How's the weather? And hung up. And the idea is that they were selling the brand, that it could get on his, they could get him on the phone at any time, even though Joe was calling Hunter and Hunter put him on speakerphone, and somehow they think speakerphone works backwards. Like you can dial into someone's fucking speakerphone. Super weird. But just pointing out that the premise of the question is a lie outright. It's not what was said in the testimony at all, period, end of story. So how he is framing the question itself is a lie. Watch. Listen to the word. There's this testimony now.
This testimony now.
There's this testimony. So he's paraphrasing the content of under oath testimony.
Where one of your son's former business associates is claiming that you were on speakerphone a lot with them talking business.
Right. Okay. On speakerphone a lot with them talking business. Okay. 20 times in a decade is not a lot just in calls alone. Period. Also, during those calls, just saying, hey guys, how's the weather? Love you, son. Talk to you later is not in and of itself on any measure, talking business and or a lot, like all of this shit, a lot with them talking business. That is not at all what Devon Archer said. Period. End of story.
Is that what?
Never talk business anyway. And I know you'd have a lousy question.
Well, why is that a lousy question?
Well, I tell you what, Doocy, I'd be glad to help you out. I think I explained it very clearly. It's premised on a lie that lie is based off of verifiable details that are contrary to the content of your question in the fucking first place. That's why. It is absolutely, it's wonderful description is a lousy question. By the way, he didn't say you're a lousy reporter. You're like, I knew you'd have a lousy question, but he didn't call him a lousy person. He didn't say you're dangerous. He didn't say you're nasty, any of that shit. He just said it was a lousy question. It is, by all measures. The premise is based on a verifiable lie, and anybody who wants to look at what Devon Archer said can go look at the transcript and know that what Peter Doocy premised is not true. It's not factually what occurred. You could still, here's the thing. If he had left out this part, there's this testimony now where one of your son's former business partners, that part of it. If he'd have left that part out and said, Devon Archer says that, you were on the phone talking business with it. Now, there's a lot of conversations, the Tucker interview, places where Devon Archer may have said something close to that. So that creates an issue if you're answering that question. You can still deny that that's true, but now you're denying the truth of Devon Archer's statement from God knows where, right? And so you don't know what he's referring to. You don't know specifically where that's coming from. So it would lower the impact of your answer, even if you're being completely truthful and you're pushing back on it. But because he added this part, there's this testimony now where one of your son's by saying that, he's saying that the accusations I am referring to happened in the testimony. And they didn't. Like, he can dance around it and fucking giggle with Tucker Carlson all he wants to. But when he was under oath, they said, did he discuss business? And he goes, I never heard it.
Now, where one of your son's former business associates is claiming that you were on speakerphone a lot with them talking business. Is that what?
Never talk business with anybody. And I knew you'd have a lousy question.
Well, why is that a lousy question?
Because it's not true.
All right.
That's exactly right. Points Joe Biden. Sorry, Sean, you fucking twerp. Just for the record, I would just like to, if I may.
Here with reaction, the co-host of the hit show.
Ugh. You can't do that to me, man. I don't know, do a crossfade or something. Shit.
The five, our friend and great legal mind, Judge Jeanine Pirro is with us. Judge, great to have you. I keep calling this the anatomy or the evolution of a lie. I never spoke to Hunter, my brother, or anybody about our foreign business dealings. 3 weeks ago.
No, it isn't. If you change the question and the person uses different English to describe the exact same thing, premising it on whatever the focal point of your question is, their description of what's going on is going to change some. But if you line up what he just said, fucking hell, look what Sean Hannity just said. This is actually this is like a lesson in bullshittery. Listen to this stuff. Okay, well, first of all, let me jump back. Let's go to Joe's answer to the question. Talking business is that. He goes, I knew you have a lousy question because it's not true. Okay, that's pretty definitive.
It's not true.
All right.
Okay, hold on. Is that? He goes, that's a lousy question.
And
I never talked business with anybody. That is the same thing he's been saying all along. He never said, I never met any of my son's business partners. It's absurd to assume that he would. But saying I talk business with somebody or I discuss business or we discuss business deals or any of that stuff, he categorically has denied it the entire time. And he stuck to that denial the entire time. And if you have evidence, again, which they still don't have, that's not true, I've yet to see it. And you can't assert that you've got evidence you don't have. That's it. Okay, I never talked business with anybody, and I knew you'd have a lousy question. And then he goes, why is that a lousy question?
You'd have a lousy question.
Well, why is that a lousy question?
Because it's not true.
Right, okay, so back here. So he breaks this down.
Jeanine Pirro is with us. Judge, great to have you.
Now watch Sean Hannity's description of, and this is very bongholio, I gotta say, describing something differently that we all just watched together. He and you and me and his audience. Everybody just saw that clip as it was, and they'd seen it multiple times by this point.
Keep calling this the anatomy or the evolution of a lie. I never spoke to Hunter, my brother, or anybody about our foreign business dealings. 3 weeks ago, Devon Archer testifying and new information coming out. As we've been saying from the very beginning, the president never was in business with his son or his brother or other people. Yeah, and he finally did have contact with all these people, but they never talked business at all. And the big one is, James Comer didn't show any direct payment to Joe, so it's all okay. Joe's fine.
Well, okay, if that's the big one, then let's see the direct payment to Joe. But also, did you notice how Joe's language about it doesn't change. Now, other people, White House spokesperson being asked random questions or whatever and how they direct it, and they go, what's our direct position? That's fine. But Joe, in terms of what he's been saying, has been pretty fucking direct.
You got to give him A for just flat out lying and creativity, but not one of those things is the same thing.
That's the run of it. All right. I don't get it. Do you? You guys know what the fuck? That's all. I don't.
They're all different lies.
No, they're not. They're not all lies. They are all normal conversation with different questions about different aspects of a case. And worst of all, they're this asshole paraphrasing what was said. Which is why, that's why I like soundboards. Because they give me a certain freedom that I don't think they get elsewhere.
We're going to be appointing very pro-crime judges.
I mean, when the man says it, the man says it.
I've been involved in the 2 greatest scams in American history.
Yeah, I mean, there's a level of honesty that you can't escape.
I had to beat off
In his sock drawer.
Right. I mean, I've got recordings.
They are different lies, and you have.
Are they? How? If they're different lies, then one of them is the truth. How many lies can you tell about the same thing and still be on the opposite side of it?
Have to give them credit, and I
Yes, they bested you.
agree with you for carrying on a lie and basically a cover-up for the last 2 years, 2.5 years. Joe Biden has been in government for almost half a century.
Right. And the extent of corruption that you think exists all boils down to a dinner meeting in 2017 after he had left office, and the presumption was he's too old to run for president again. It was going to be Hillary, and she was going to be 8 years, and that was that.
His wife is a school teacher. They have multi-million-dollar beach houses.
And you can look online at their financials and see exactly how they paid for them.
They have all kinds of property.
By the way, they don't have multi-million-dollar beach houses. They have a house by the lake. Just for the record, that's a lie. You can't add fucking magic houses to people's balance sheet. But I'm, you know what? Who am I to question? She's the one with the keen analytical mind.
All kinds of money. He's worth $8 million. And what?
$8 million? Excuse me for a moment, if I may. I got to look at something real quick. Where is it? Let's see. Let's see. Get the newest thing. Let's see. Yes. Oh, it's fucking Reuters. Whatever. Get out of here. I gotta find a version of it. Let's see. She said 8 million, right? Yeah? Is that what she said? 8. I want to get the number right. Because I mean, obviously we're going to get into the deep reads financially about this stuff. Get back. Let's see. 8 million is what you said? Okay. You bastard. Why won't it just let me have the article, you rat? Let's see. Okay, and this will be here. We go to there. Hey, look at that. Before giving billions to Jared Kushner, Saudi investment fund had big doubts. $2 billion. 2.6 billion dollars. Let's State administration overruled the ethic experts said a deal crazy. Mr. Kushner played a leading role inside the Trump administration defending Crown Prince Mohammed after U.S. intelligence services said he killed. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's a little blood money. $2 billion, billion with a B. I think the funniest thing about this is I got to tell you, I got to confess something to you guys. Can I tell you something? Can I tell you, you lovely folks, you lovely chat room? Can I tell you this? I'm of two minds about the Jared Kushner money, because on the one hand, it's horribly corrupt, it seems, and ridiculous. And Hunter Biden, for all the whole like 20 times in fucking 10 years, phone call wise, Jared Kushner was in the fucking White House all the time. Every day. He worked in the White House. Don't give me shit about what you think may have been and what flights Biden might have taken his son on 3 times because it's his son and they took his family to Europe or Asia with them and because it's his family and you bring family something. I don't give a fuck. I honestly don't. Unless you can show me some major funds, that would not have traded hands otherwise has traded hands and something was done in exchange for that. Fuck right off. But I will say this. Jared Kushner worked in the White House and his wife worked there for fucking free, and they effectively left office with $3 billion in their equity fund, and Jared Kushner doesn't know fuck about equity funds. Or a venture capital. It's a venture capital fund. He's a real estate dude. But he was able to start this venture capital fund with Saudi money, largely. They didn't just take Saudi money, I would like to tell you. Of the $3 billion in that fund, some of it is from American investors. America, good old America. Anybody want to guess what percentage of the money in that is American funds? Now, Jared knows a billionaire, allegedly. Allegedly, his wife is the daughter of one. So you'd think maybe he chucked in $1 billion, maybe that's what it is. 1%. 1%. They got a couple people who are right. Yes, 1%. 1% of the money is from the United States. All of the rest of it is foreign fucking money. And not just rando foreign money like rich French people, rich Brits, whatever. Fucking 75% of it, practically, maybe 68%, is Saudi. And the rest of it's like UAE and Qatar. And so, fuck off with this, oh my God, the corruption at $8 million, which, by the way, is exactly what you would expect the worth of someone with 2 best-selling novels and who's been gainfully employed and basically their entire life, especially since he was vice president, has been under the envelope of the federal government. So it's not like he's paying big money to take his whole family to Italy and roll them over there like the fucking Kardashians, because they can't.
What we're finding out now is that they've got a Justice Department that is in a position to offer a sweetheart deal to Hunter Biden. And now, all of a sudden, because the American people aren't buying it, and because the American people know it's not on the level, all of a sudden, Merrick Garland wants to appoint a special counsel because he said David Weiss now said he needs a special counsel. That is a flat-out lie, Sean, and I'll tell you why.
I don't understand. So David Weiss said he needs a special counsel, and Garland said, you do it.
He doesn't need a special counsel.
He doesn't need it.
Because David Weiss concluded his investigation. He's offered a plea deal to Hunter Biden that gave him immunity. That is...
Yeah, but only on those 3 charges.
Legal protection against any prosecution in perpetuity. So if you give someone legal immunity for the rest of their lives against any prosecution...
No one has that. And you know who's about to find that out? Steve Bannon. Nobody has that. What the fuck? This is keen legal mind, Judge Jeanine, if I may. That's her. I mean, this is just fucking gibberish. Nobody is offering immunity for the rest of your fucking life. I mean, you could argue that they can't, offering effectively double jeopardy protection because during the exchange about the plea deal, you will cop to some things. This is how plea deals work. And I would love if Sean Hannity would ask her, have you ever done a plea deal? How does a plea deal work? Boy, you want to see this whole fucking line of blather collapse? Have her describe how a fucking plea deal works. Because what you're going to have is, all right, we're going to do a plea deal. He's going to cop to man one, but we want to know where all the bodies are buried and all that kind of shit. If he lies to us or doesn't give us all the information, deal's off. And so a person guiltier of a greater crime pleads down to a lesser crime so that the government can have all the information and all the evidence about the others. That's how it works. And if they've lied about that stuff, then the deal will be void and they'll get charged for the other shit. And they willfully walk into that lack of, Fifth Amendment protection because of that. But if you make a plea deal with somebody and they cop to the lower plea and agree to certain terms, and then after they've taken the plea and they've gotten their 18 months in jail or whatever the fuck they're going to get, and then they get out of jail or they pass that probationary period, and then you try to arraign them on information they gave as part of the proffer in the plea deal, you broke the terms of the plea deal after the fact. So nobody would take one. So stupid.
Why do now, all of a sudden, you need a special counsel to investigate? And this guy, David Weiss, is the same guy who offered a plea deal that didn't pass legal muster with a federal judge.
No, he had the disagreement about the level of it. The judge was unclear about it. It was too vague. They had worked it out with the lawyers, and the judge thought it was. And the judge, by the way, is a Trump appointee, if I'm not mistaken.
Who believed that this thing was beyond anything she had seen.
It shouldn't be David Weiss. You're right. He's the one. He went against his own office that recommended felony charges. He gave the...
No. All investigators, God damn it. Do these fuckers never watch an episode of Law and Order? This is like paint by numbers fucking stuff. That's how you get somebody to plead to a lower deal if you think you can't get them on the higher stuff. You throw somebody, I'm going to get you on 3 felonies. I might get you on just the one, but you're going to go to jail for a very long time. But if you plead to the lesser charge, I'll give you, 3 misdemeanors and you'll pay a fine and that kind of stuff. Deal. That's how it works. I don't know why this is weird. Honest to God.
Sweetheart deal. He's the one guy that was identified by the whistleblowers as saying one thing to them and a very different thing in public.
Well, yeah, but those are the qualifications for Trump to nominate you to a position. I don't know why that seems weird to you guys. Have you watched any of, listened to the Woodward tapes of Trump, for example, and watched what he said to, out in the public about when the sun comes, it's going to burn it up and all you got to do is stick a light bulb up your ass.
By the way, if the whistleblowers who took contemporaneous notes are correct, that would mean that not only did he lie before Congress, I believe, but also...
He lied before Congress.
So that Merrick Garland lied before Congress. So Garland picks the one guy. The appointment of him is a sham to me.
What do you think?
Wait a second. Remember when they said that Dan Goldman fed Devin Archer the illusion of access line, and he agreed to it, and they were like, that line, the illusion of access, was fed into it by Dan Goldman, this manipulative fuck. Look what the name of this thing is. Judge Jeanine explodes on Hunter Biden counsel. It is a sham. That's his line. What the fuck?
What do you make of the appointment of him in particular? They should have picked somebody that's independent.
They should have picked someone, number one, outside of the government. Number two, he's already indicated he's compromised.
Well, he's a Trump appointee. You're not going to find anybody else. Boot and Eagle, hi.
He's the one who put together a plea deal, Sean, that gave Hunter immunity for the rest of his life, but then said the investigation was continuing. Why? So that Congress, the Republican House, cannot investigate.
Why would that stop them from investigating?
So he puts together a plea deal a federal judge will not allow to go. And then he comes back and he says, after he said he had all the power he needed to Jim Jordan, but said in a meeting with the FBI and the IRS in October of 2022, I'm not the one making the decisions.
Right, Merrick Garland was, and Merrick Garland did.
And the U.S. attorney in D.C. is not giving me permission to prosecute in D.C. All you need to do
That's because these crimes didn't happen in D.C.
was bring in the 7 people who were at the meeting where he said he didn't have the power and he doesn't have the ability to go forward, and we make David Weiss to be a liar.
Great analogy. No, you don't. You actually point out the fact that he said, I can't appoint a special counsel, and so Merrick Garland did. He appointed him special counsel. Basically saying in one fell swoop, A, you can have a special counsel, and B, you have access to carry forward with your investigation. You don't have to hand it over to some other person that you guys can destroy. If you're the one saying you need a special counsel, then you are it. Have at it. So stupid.
Analysis, Judge. Good to see you. We appreciate.
Oh, so good. So it's great. We'll call you, Judge, because why? Oy. I find that whole thing so aggravating and so silly. She's mad as shit and can't stop smiling. Well, that's the other thing too, is that how upset can they possibly be?